and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in southwestern region of Canada on the tip of Vancouver Island. It's the beautiful capital city of British Columbia. Welcome Fong, hi Romelia, welcome Angel, welcome to our chat moderator Lexi. This is a members chat class. Hello members. To become a member, click the join button next to the subscribe button. In this class, students, we are focusing on IELTS speaking part 2, the cue card. The long part, the topic for this cue card will be a safe place for you. In English, in one word, we simply say haven. Easy way to remember that is the word heaven. And it's not heaven, but it's called haven. It's actually just one letter difference there. Students, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live lessons. They contain all of our materials. This is our academic IELTS website here. Click this big red button to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate. We are a British Council partner and an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent. You are in great hands with us. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com, green background. Again, click this big red button and you are good to go. Thank you, Alexi, for putting the website URL into the topic today. Romelia, absolutely, when it comes to volunteering, make sure to volunteer. Students, if you're feeling ambitious, yes, definitely put yourself forward. Students, we've got a new video for you online today. It came out just a couple hours before this live class. I'm not sure if you have had a chance to check that out. And in that video, you will find this discount code, EASY9, for another 10% discount on the websites. Our apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. Those apps will get you going and will link to the websites. Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. We will be putting our schedule for next week there, and also lots of great reels and info for you to improve. To contact me by email for IELTS questions, English questions, questions about our products, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Either one of those will work. And Amazon has our practice exams, AE Helps Academic IELTS and GE Helps General IELTS. You can actually order the physical books to your home. Students, April coming to an end, and we are getting into May. Late spring, summer's upon us. I don't know about the weather in the rest of the world, but in the last 2 days here in Victoria, the weather went from 10 degrees, 12 degrees to 22 degrees Celsius. We had a jump of 10 degrees Celsius, and we went from wearing jackets and sweaters to wearing t-shirts and shorts like that. Hopefully, for many of you, it's also nice weather in your part of the world. So again, students, speaking part 2 right now, followed by speaking part 3 right after the class with the 30-minute break. 30th to May 3rd, no class as usual, and then back on the 4th with speaking part 1. Again, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because then you will get notifications of these live classes, and I will be posting this schedule after this morning session or morning sessions. Okay, everybody, that new release I was talking about, the new speaking video, is this one here. Check it out. It's on our YouTube. It's our newest release. It's a good one. You get some good ideas with it. Okay, let's get into speaking part 2, the cue card. It looks like I might have switched this up. Let me just check here, students, to see if I can get the right one for you. That's our speaking part 3. You're getting a little bit of a foresight into that. And let's jump in and get this. So here you're going to get a hint of what we're looking at. Places, right? All right. Here is our cue card. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Boom. There it is. Let me just adjust it. And then we are good to go. All right. You can start reading it while I'm doing a bit of formatting work here. It's just going to take me a second. Bear with me. I guess when I set that up, I accidentally deleted our cue card. Okay, everybody, here it is. Our cue card. Speaking part 2 comes at about 5-6 minutes into your speaking interview. First, you do part 1. Most of you know this. Part 1 is general topic, questions about hobbies, sports, music, some general common topic that people often discuss. And then the examiner will say, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For part 2, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these questions, think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. You can take notes in the 1 minute time if you wish. Talk about a safe haven, a place where you can go to avoid danger. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Ironically, this 1 minute where you're not actually speaking is arguably the most important part of your speaking interview because it has a major impact on your final score. It will decide how well you can speak, your vocabulary. It will also decide your ability to connect part 3 and to continue with some good answers. Now, you'll notice something interesting here, students. There's a little purple underline for safe haven, and that's because a Microsoft Grammar Check is going to tell me something interesting here. Microsoft Grammar Check is going to say, more concise language would be clear for your reader. Just say a haven. Talk about a haven. Okay, yeah. Sure, that works. When a person knows the word haven, haven means a place of safety. But IELTS isn't cruel. They know that there will be some candidates who may not know the word haven. Okay? So they try to give you a bit of extra help. So they say, talk about a safe haven. Okay, and then here after the comma, they even kind of paraphrase it, a place where you can go to avoid danger. Okay, so again, in that 1 minute preparation time for your cue card, you have to think quickly, you have to think cleverly, and you have to come up with some good answers. Okay. Exactly, Anatita. A haven is already a safe place. But many people won't know that. So IELTS in the cue card or in task 2 will often give you a little bit of extra help or extra hints to help you understand what you actually need to do, what you need to talk about. However, going back to what we talked about earlier this week and last week, memory association is really important. So here, we're obviously talking about a place, okay? Now, when you talk about a place, what should you include? Chen, welcome. Nice to see our other moderator in the class as well. So when you talk about a place, what should you include so that your listener has the ability to clearly and accurately understand what you're talking about. That's right, Shayani. So location and the appearance. So location, appearance, that's right, Fuang, the attendees, the people that go there. Okay. All right. What else? Maybe a bit of the history, Amra. Absolutely. Not so much the function, Amra. Domenico, not quite what's for. Chani, not the purpose, but more accurately, the activities. Okay, so the activities that happen there and the experience. And then if you've got a lot of time and you're doing a great job, yeah, you might want to include a bit of history as well. Okay. All right, good. So location, appearance, attendees, activities, experience, sure. All right. And in this case, you want to think about the tense as well. So for this question, let's read it carefully. Talk about a safe haven, a place where you can go to avoid danger. What is this place and where is it? When would you use this place? Who would you take with you? Why do you believe this place is better for you than any other during a crisis? Okay, so the tense here, Alexi, you're right, is present because you're talking about a general situation, right? So present tense is a very good one. Conditionals, Fuang, right? Real or unreal? Okay, absolutely. Potentially the future, Dylan. Yeah, right. Because if this will happen, I will do this, right? So potentially the future tense as well. So present, real, and future. There could be quite a few tenses that come into play here depending on what you say. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, we've got a safe haven, okay? It's a place to avoid danger. What are some other ways to express this? Okay, so are there any other words that come to mind? Are there any synonyms for a safe haven? What else could you use to describe a place of safety? Very good, Anahita. A sanctuary. Absolutely. Very nice word, Anahita. Sanctuary is a great paraphrase for a haven. Okay. Dylan, muster point, very interesting. That has a specific meaning, and if you are ever at a construction site, you're going to see muster points for sure. That's right, Amra, a place of refuge. Yes, and you're probably connecting it with the word refugee, a person. An asylum, Amra, very good. Yes. An asylum is defined as a place of refuge. Okay. Anahita, muster point is also a place of gathering in case of an emergency. Okay. At construction sites, if there's an emergency or if somebody's injured, they gather at the muster point. Yes, very good. Shelter, Fuang, very nice. Look at all those wonderful words. Okay. Awesome. So students, repeat after me. Safe haven. A place to avoid danger. Sanctuary. Muster point. Refuge. Asylum. Shelter. Now, muster point is kind of interesting. I mean, if you're a construction worker, that would be a good one to use. Otherwise, you have to be careful because it could be a bit off topic. Domenico, it could be a place in the mountains, like a cabin. Absolutely. That's a good idea. We'll get there in just a moment. Okay. A harbor. Yes, Angel, that's right. We do use that word as well. A harbor of safety. Yes. I think the British spelling is with U and the American is with an O. Okay, so a harbor, a safe harbor. or a place to harbor for safety. We say that. Absolutely. A harbor, of course, is where ships go to dock, and it's a place of safety for boats. And we do use that in everyday language. I am able to harbor myself. You can use that as a verb. I am able to harbor myself at this cabin in the mountains, right? Okay. Camp, yes, or encampment, Chayani. Very good. Definitely. There you go. Well done, everybody. Okay, so we've got lots of different words, and they are good to think about. So when you have your 1 minute preparation time, thinking of synonyms are really good. Now there's another key word here. Talk about a safe haven, a place where you can go to avoid danger. What other word do you think would be important to define here, to think about before you really get into your 1 to 2 minute response? Okay, what do you think? What would be another word here where you're like, it'd be good to think about that before I start talking and to figure out. Yeah, Amra, very good. Amra says you probably want to think about the word danger. Yes, absolutely. Like danger is a crisis. Okay? Or an emergency. Or a catastrophe. Yes. Okay. A hazard. Absolutely. So those keywords and thinking of different ways to say those keywords will absolutely help you to get a better band score. Okay. So identify keywords on the cue card like safe haven, like danger. Okay. Domenico says it could be a natural disaster. Yes, it could be strife, conflict, stress. Okay. Think outside the box, students. So a place of safety, it might not just be physical. It could also be emotional. Okay. Sometimes in the world today, the danger or the stress that we experience isn't necessarily physical danger or stress, but it's emotional danger or stress, right? If it's a cataclysm, Alexi, we might be in a tough situation, okay? All right, so it could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be violence, right? It could be political danger as well. So there are a lot of different types of danger where a person might seek a place of refuge, right? So keep that in mind. Many kinds of danger may push a person to seek a place of refuge. Students, you should be repeating, okay? So repeat and speak. All right. Yes, so there could be a lot of different reasons. Okay, so now you think about places. Okay, so this is a very, very important step, everybody. I think we're at about step number 3 here, or step number 4. Think of at least 2 to 3 ideas. 2 to 3 ideas that can work for a good answer. Should be easy to talk about. Lots of detail. Okay, and original. All right. So give me some ideas. What are some places where you would feel safe? Okay. Romelia says, my psychologist's couch. We'll call him Dr. Freud. Okay. Why not, Romelia? It's actually a very good answer. My psychologist, Dr. Freud's couch. Okay, sure. Very good. Domenico says a cabin on top of Mount Finlayson. All right, sure. Name that cabin, Domenico. Okay. Angel, it's not a tough question. Students, make sure you do not consider questions to be tough, okay? Even if that's true, you never want to think about a question as being tough. Okay, Angel says, under the large oak dining table in my home. Sure. Be specific, Angel. Okay, be specific. All right. Students, it's very important that you don't just think of general concepts. You want to sound original. And by sounding original, you also use better vocabulary, more complex sentences, and you get higher band scores. So when you think under the table, go one step further. What kind of table is it? What is it made of? So immediately take those extra steps and see that table. Okay? All right. What else? A lot of people will choose religious buildings at times of danger. So the Catholic church, St. Peter's down the street, or they might say something like my local mosque 2 kilometers away, okay, or might say something like the temple that is a short drive. Okay, so religious buildings, absolutely. All right, Dylan says a sports complex close to my home, which is a gathering point in case of earthquake. Yeah, so there are designated refuge places in cities, right? There's a very common one. We see it in movies all the time. Does anybody know what I'm thinking of? If you think about these disaster movies, they all kind of seem to have this same gathering point, or at least many of them seem to have the same gathering point. Anybody know what I'm thinking of? So Dylan says sports complex. It is a kind of sports complex. I'll give you a hint. Close to my home. Designated refuge. Okay. If you have a panic room, Dylan, yes, sure, but no. Stadium. Okay, sports stadium. City refuge. Okay, so if your city has a sports stadium, yes, that's right, Chen, the stadium, yes. Anywhere from earthquakes to zombie apocalypse, people seem to like gathering at sports stadiums. They're large, open spaces, well built, right? So there you go. Okay, lots of ideas there, students. You could even have it a bit simpler. So my grandma's house. All right. Okay. The rooftop, Chayani, if you're in a place where it's a flood, right? So in case of flash floods, yes, absolutely. Okay, let's choose one. Let's choose one and then just go with it. Let's go with the sports complex. Sure, I think that's a good one. Yeah, okay. So you can choose a different one for practice. I'm going to choose the sports complex. For a few different reasons, okay? I think it's easy to talk about. I think that there's a lot of context, so it's easy to talk for 2 minutes. It's original. I can make it original. And there are many reasons why I might go there in case of danger. Okay? All right? So a sports complex near my home, This is a good choice. Okay, so first of all, location. Here we go, notes. Location. Okay, now when you're in your IELTS exam, just be very quick. So all you need to do is an L, like this, okay? And then you know that, okay, I need to talk about location. So 1 kilometer, okay? Open space, right? 5-minute walk. That's it, right? Central. Okay. Now, the appearance. Okay. So for the appearance, again, all you want to do is maybe just do app like that. Okay. Appearance. And now here, when you're taking your notes, everybody, you want to make sure that you are focusing on the cue card, okay? So this is a place of safety. So when you're talking about the appearance and its build, you want to keep that in mind, even if you have to add information. It doesn't have to be the truth. It doesn't have to be real. So Domenico, that's good that you're thinking about the same idea. It means that your brain is going, okay, that's probably the easiest one to talk about. Okay, so the appearance of this place. Talk about the appearance of this place in a way where we can make that connection to a place of safety. Okay, so it's a large square, sure. That's not necessarily connected to a place of safety. Okay. Give me some information that will help you define this location as a place of safety. Okay. Okay, so holds up to 1,000 people. Sure. That's going to be the attendees, Alexi. Okay. So careful. This is why it's good to write down APATT, right? Okay, square. 1,000 square meters, square space, sure. Okay, earthquake resistant. Yeah, Angel, what might you add there, earthquake resistant? Okay. So it stores food. Sure, that would be more in the possibly the activities or the experience. What else? How about this? Steel and concrete. Modern, 2000. I probably wouldn't even write down modern. I would probably just write down like 2018. Earthquake proofed. Okay. Very good, Angel. So backup generators, which is actually true. They tend to have backup generators at sports centers. Yes, very nice. Okay, air filters, conditioners. All right, yeah. Yes. Okay, probably has medical stations, right? Usually sports centers are equipped with medical rooms that have medical equipment, right? Okay, food stores. They will often have food storage, like a special room that holds canned foods or non-perishables, right? Okay. Very good. Sleeping space. That are like courts, right? So sports courts. High ceilings. Reinforced ceilings. Okay, so now you don't have, of course, a ton of time, so you have to remember you only have 1 minute, right? But now you're at least starting to get the right ideas. So you won't have time to get this much information down for the appearance, but as long as you get some of these key ones like steel and concrete, medical stations, 2018, backup generators, air filters and conditioners. That's great. That's really going to help you to expand and talk about this in the right way. Okay, attendees holds up to 1,000 people. Okay, again, think about people that will help you to talk about this topic. So who are the attendees? Who are people at sports centers that are often there, which are good to have nearby when there is some sort of an emergency? Okay. Angel says it has a Red Cross. Yeah, that's good. Often they do. Sports centers might have a Red Cross office or some similar type of office in them. Absolutely. Okay. Very good, Dylan. Absolutely. They have often security personnel. Yes, so security guards. Yes, absolutely. What else do they have? They often have lifeguards, right? Lifeguards are also trained for emergency situations. They're trained to stay calm and not panic, right? And so if you have a pool at your community center, you have lifeguards. Of course, there's lots of water at recreation centers as well, right? So you have lifeguards. What else? Who else, I should say? Who else might you have there? Yes, volunteers who are trained, they're often told to gather at the recreation center. Okay. Definitely. They might have medical staff. They often will have a doctor or a nurse, or maybe even a doctor and a nurse on hand at larger recreation centers. So there's a good chance that you have some medical staff there as well, right? Like a nurse. Absolutely, Chayani, definitely. Okay, so the activities here. So think about this. What kinds of dangerous situations might you go to seek refuge at this recreation center? So in the most extreme cases, maybe an earthquake, sure, or natural disaster. Okay. Maybe in time of conflict, you might gather there as well. All right. But maybe even less problematic situations if you have stress in life or family, right? You might go to your recreation center just to go for a workout, right? That could be considered a dangerous situation instead of, going into depression or becoming abusive, violent, stressed out. It's a place of refuge. It's a place where you can disconnect, you can relax, you can go for a swim. So it doesn't have to be an extreme situation of danger. You can touch on both. So now you see that, okay, your experience, and again for these, keep it simple when you're doing your notes, okay? So activities, AC, and experience, okay? All right. So your experience is familiar. It's close to you. Okay. It's fortunate that you have this near you, right? And maybe you might write down something like, hope for the best, plan for the worst. Right? That could be your concluding sentence. Okay, so students, let's get our first sentence ready. Let's keep moving along nice and smoothly. So I think everybody's following clearly here with me. So step 5 is to get your first sentence ready. Very important. So that you can start accurately and fluently. Okay, it is so important, everybody who's watching right now, not just the members, when you're in your IELTS speaking and part 2 comes up, get your first sentence ready. Do not sit there and go, well, there's a lot of places I can go to be safe, like the temple, cabin in the woods, but the place that I would like to talk about today, no. Okay, that is not a good way to score high in part 2. In part 2, what you want to do is no and ha, no 10-second pause when the examiner says please begin speaking, staring at your note paper. No, look at the examiner, directly start. So a place of refuge for me is the Commonwealth Sports Complex. This actually exists in Victoria if any of you want to look it up. Commonwealth Sports Complex, located about 1 kilometer from my home. Okay. All right. There you go. Let's see your first sentences. Angel says when it comes to a Angel says when it comes to a refuge, I'd rather escape to a sports complex in the near vicinity of my flat. Okay, that's good. Angel, that's good. A couple of small corrections there that I inserted while I read it, but otherwise good. Okay. Domenico, Mr. LaFauci says a kind of sanctuary that comes to mind where I could go to avert a hazardous event is a wooden cabin in the mountains. Okay, Domenico, that's good for your own response and practice it, okay? But because later there will be a chance for you to give your own response, but for now just focus on the collective response. Here the collective response is the sports complex. So give me some sentences that work for this topic, okay? Amra says a place of asylum. Amra, simpler, an asylum, which I prefer in case of a perilous situation, is the sports complex located about 1 kilometer from my home. Very good. So Amra, simplify. The asylum is a place, okay? So an asylum, okay? An asylum, I prefer to go in case of a perilous situation, is the sports complex located about 1 kilometer from my home. Everybody, make sure that you are repeating, speaking while I am saying these sentences. Anahita, a sanctuary where I can go to circumvent precariousness is my driver's small room outside our house. Okay, Anahita, same as with Domenico, focus on the collective response for now, okay? It will work better. There are several different routes I can take to get to this location by car, bike, or on foot, which can be advantageous in case of natural disaster that may prevent movement in the city. Okay. All right, so it's still a little bit here about the location, right? So the location of the recreation center, there are different ways to get there. You can drive there, you can bike there, you can run there. There are different roads and routes. So I might say that, right? So I'm visualizing this sports complex. And most people, you can make up information, okay? But here, many of you should actually have information. If you have no idea where there is a place that you can go to be safe near your home, that's not good. You should look around. You should check your city plan, and you should investigate where designated locations are for safety around your city, okay? Most cities around the world will have evacuation plans, okay? So this is just kind of a life knowledge that you should have, is check your city's evacuation plan and places of refuge. Okay, if you haven't done that, you should do that, especially if you're a family head, if you're a mom or a dad. You should definitely do that, and you should definitely tell your kids. It's all fun and games till it actually happens, right? So unfortunately, what happened in Turkey this year, for example, or Syria, it happens. A couple of years ago when I was in Budapest, it happened in Croatia, a place where they thought there would never be earthquakes. Some of you might remember that. Domenico, you might remember that. There was a fairly serious earthquake in Croatia opposite to Italy. And they thought, oh, there's no earthquakes there. There's no earthquake zone. How did that happen? 7.5 or something like that collapsed a ton of buildings. So, again, it's that hope for the best, plan for the worst. It takes you 1 minute to check your city's evacuation plan and place of refuge. You should know where those are, all right? Domenico says, yes, I remember that, right, Domenico? Yeah, we felt it in Budapest. I'm sure in Italy, some places felt that earthquake as well. That was a surprise, right? We think technology knows all, but not always. Nobody thought there would be an earthquake in that part of the world. So it was a big surprise for people. Okay, so you should always hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Okay, so that's enough for location. Now the appearance. This is a well-built, modern structure that was finished in 2018 and made to withstand natural disasters. It is mostly made of concrete and reinforced steel on 4 hectares of open space. It has high ceilings, air filtration systems, it is well supplied with water and has several backup generators in case of power outage. Okay, so here obviously the description is very important. Okay, so repeat after me. This is a well-built modern structure that was finished in 2018 and made to withstand natural disasters. Okay. It is mostly made of concrete and reinforced steel on 4 hectares of open space. It has high ceilings, air filtration systems. It is well supplied with water and has several backup generators in case of power outage. All right, so there you go. Furthermore, there are many professionals who are present in case of emergency, such as a nurse, doctor, security staff, and even lifeguards. Okay? So, if I were injured, and here is, notice the present perfect, right? So if I were injured in a natural disaster or as a result of violence following political unrest, I feel assured that I could get treatment from a person at this sports facility. Okay, All right, so basically here I'm going through my notes, and notice how I'm following that structure. So again, keep that structure in mind, okay? So you've got the location, you've got the appearance, you've got the people who are there, right? This large 1,000 square meter location can house up to at least 2,000 people, so I don't need to worry about not having enough space to get help or to sleep, right? Okay, so some of those activities. All right, okay, so again, you've got 1 to 2 minutes, and in a perfect situation, students, so you should answer all of the questions on the cue card in about 90 seconds and then expand. Okay, so do your best, and not even do your best, but practice this timing. So practice answering all the questions on the card in the first 90 seconds. Then use the remaining 30 seconds to expand and conclude. Okay? But answer all the questions. So what do? I look at the card. Okay? So here I look at the card, and the card says, what is this place and where is it? When would you use this place? I kind of answered that. Who would you take with you? Why do you believe this place is better for you than any other during a crisis? So, in case of a natural disaster or social unrest, I would take myself, my wife, and children to this location. The reason to choose this sanctuary over others is that it gives the greatest opportunity for survival near my home. Okay, so I make sure to answer all of those questions in the 90 seconds. Okay, and then if I have time and the examiner is staring at me like, okay, you've got another 30 seconds, keep talking, right? Okay, so they're looking at you like that, all right? Then you keep going, right? So not only can this place be an asylum during a major crisis, it is also a haven when it comes to my personal stress. If I feel that I'm in danger of a mental breakdown, I grab my sports gear and go for a swim or a workout at this facility, and it helps me to unwind and navigate life full of positive energy. Without a doubt, the Commonwealth Center is a place for me to avoid danger near my home. I hope for the best but I do plan for the worst. Okay? All right. Anahita says, you didn't answer the why question, sir. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Anahita. I mean, I feel I did, so why would I go there? Maybe that was before I wrote all of this, okay? Anahita, you should answer those questions as you progress. So instead of focusing on why and how and trying to do it that way, that can be a lot more confusing. What you should do is just focus on the best way to describe a place, which is the location, the appearance, the attendees, the activities, the experience. And within that, pay attention to the cue card and you will have a much better structured, better answer. Okay? All right. So let's go through this answer here. It's about 2 minutes, this answer, and then we'll get some volunteering. You can try some of those other great ideas that you've had, okay? Here we go. A place of refuge for me is the Commonwealth Sports Complex located about 1 kilometer from my home. There are several different routes that I can take to get to this location by car, bike, or on foot, which can be advantageous in case of natural disaster that can prevent movement in the city. This is a well-built modern structure finished in 2018 and made to withstand natural disasters. It is made of concrete and reinforced steel on 4 hectares of open space. It has high ceilings, air filtration systems. It's well supplied with water and has several backup generators in case of power outage. There are many professionals who are present in case of emergencies, like doctors, nurses, security staff, and even lifeguards. So if I were injured, I feel assured that I could get treatment from a person at this facility. This large 1,000 square meter location can house up to at least 2,000 people, so I don't need to worry about not having enough space for sleep. In case of natural disaster or social unrest, I would take myself, my wife, and children to this location. The reason to choose this sanctuary over others is that it gives the greatest opportunity for survival near my home. Not only can this place be an asylum during a major crisis, it is also a haven when it comes to my personal stress. I feel that if I'm in danger of a mental breakdown, I can grab my sports gear, go for a swim or a workout at this facility, and it will help me to unwind and navigate life with a positive attitude. Without a doubt, the Commonwealth Center is a place for me to avoid danger near my home. I hope for the best, but I do plan for the worst. No, Anahita, furthermore and on top of that, they're the same. There's no difference. You can use one or the other. Furthermore is actually a bit more professional than on top of that. Okay, good. So that would be a definite Band 9 answer said like that for this cue card question, without a doubt. Okay, so you have the right idea. Now, members, I'll get you to volunteer, and you can talk about the cabin in the mountains, or you can talk about any of the other places that we discussed. Okay, I'm going to put on my headphones here so I can hear you better. And we'll get into it. We'll get a couple of people to answer this question. To do this, everybody, to volunteer, Alexi has put the instructions into the chat. Here it is on the screen as well. So to volunteer for speaking, okay, first of all, go to aehelp.com. All right. Log into your My Student account. Click on Student Partner Speaking. Okay, enable your microphone, test it with another person. All right, here we go. I'll show you how to do this. So you go to aehelp.com. Okay, and you can click on this big red button to join our premium IELTS package. That's just above my head there. Again, we're an IDP affiliate, we're a British Council partner, and we're an IELTS test registration center. And then once you're here, you can go to your My Student account. Click on Student Partner Speaking. Okay, accept the terms. And you will see lots of people in here. Vladislav, Majid, Romelia, Pima, Alexi, Melina, Chayani, Amra, Kiyu, Fuang, and Domenico are all in here. Alexi is volunteering. I think Alexi didn't have a chance yesterday because the mic wasn't working or something wasn't working there. So let's see if Alexi can lead the charge here with a try. So Alexi, are you ready? And I'm going to go nice and smoothly here, students. So I want to give at least a few of our viewers, especially members, a chance to respond. Okay. Alexi, I still can't hear you. I'm not sure what's going on there. You're going to have to check it out, okay? It's something from your end because it works from my side, so I don't know what it could be, but it has to be something from your end because on my side, as you can hear, it works with other people. So maybe we can chat about that. Again, I'm not sure. It's tough. Okay, I think Amra didn't have a chance the other day either, so let's give Amra a chance. Amra, are you ready? All right. Try a different browser, Alexi. Could be a browser-related, cookie-related issue as well. There's just so many different moving pieces, right?
Hello, sir.
Hi, Amra. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. What about you?
I am doing great. Thank you for asking. Amra, let's jump right in. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready, sir.
Okay, here we go. Let's start part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, think about your answers, take notes in this time if you wish, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about a safe haven, a place where you can go to avoid danger. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
An asylum which I prefer to go in case of perilous situation is a sailboat named Island Girl, which is currently stranded at Aras Harbor, located in the southeastern part of the Caspian Sea. This is a contemporary 50-foot boat with a wide hull and a wooden steering wheel. It accommodates 20 people, so my parents, brothers, and sisters, and even a doctor and navigator can fit all together. The boat is well equipped to be self-sufficient. It has bedrooms, a kitchen, and a dining room. Also it can store 500 kilos of food and has a water purification system which can provide a nearly endless supply of clean drinking water. In any extreme situations, especially natural disasters such as earthquake or volcanic eruptions or a pandemic where millions of people get sick and die, I would seek refuge in this sailboat. And I would definitely bring along my whole family, my parents, brothers and sisters, um, as well as some skilled individuals, such as a doctor and skilled navigator. And I hold that Island Girl is the best option for survival during a perilous time, since it's not only isolated from the rest of the world, but can also sustain people's life on the board for months or even a year.
Okay, your time is up. I will stop you there. Fantastic answer. Fantastic choice of answer. A sailboat. Yes, I've often thought about that.
Yeah, we Yeah, we do have my uncle's sailboat. So I took this as an example.
Good for you. Yeah, I'm jealous. You have it. You actually have a sailboat. That's good. Okay. That is the end of part 2. Now we will continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response. Why would you choose to use a sailboat and not some other type of boat?
Can you repeat again, sir?
Yes, why would you choose to be on a sailboat during a dangerous situation and not some other kind of boat?
Because it is familiar. It's my uncle's boat, and also we could take some trips during summer break. Whenever I'm also feeling stressed, I we go to the open sea and we do some fishing and fend ourselves. By doing this, we relieve stress.
Okay, repeat after me, Amra. Because a sailboat does not rely on any kind of fuel supply, such as electricity or gasoline.
Because a sailboat doesn't rely on any kind of fuels such as uh, gasoline, but instead in electricity.
Okay, and with the wind, we could sail to a place of safety.
And with the wind, we can sail to the safety.
Okay, good. Right? So keep your thoughts simple. Like, yes, I get it. It's a familiar boat. It's your uncle's boat. But that was kind of so sometimes when the examiners, and pay attention to this, students. So sometimes when the examiners are asking you that follow-up question, it's a loaded question. So they're asking you that question because they actually have kind of an idea of what the answer should be or what it could be in their head, right? And if I'm your examiner and you tell me this 2-minute response about going on a sailboat, in my head, I would be like, oh, that's a great idea because, of course, a sailboat is self-sufficient. And you talked about that self-sufficiency by saying that it has a water purification system which can supply endless amounts of water. It has sleeping space, so you can basically spend months, even years on the boat. One other aspect that you could keep talking for obviously even longer is you can have food supply because of the fish in the water. You can fish for food, right?
Yes.
So that's a huge advantage of the sailboat is you can actually access protein. You can fish for protein, for food. So it's self-sufficient and it relies on the wind and not on any other power supply. Okay, so when they're asking you that question, think logically. Think why would the examiner ask me that specific question? There must be a very simple, clear answer to his question. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Amra, band score, 8.5, 8 to 8.5, easy. There were a couple of slight pronunciation, preposition mistakes that were almost natural. So you're definitely very close to that band 9 here. A comfortable 8, I would say 5 out of 10 times, even an 8.5. So that was really good. Okay, nice, fluent, clear, lots of language, good specific answer. Very well done. Okay, good use of quantitative information like 500 kilos of food, 50-foot boat. A very good use of quantification. Outstanding.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, keep it up, Amra. Hopefully you will only ever need to use that sailboat for fun and pleasure tours and never anything extreme. All right, bye, Amra.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
All right, that was Amra. Romelia, I know, was really anxious to try here, so let's give Romelia a chance. Domenico, you're on my radar. I definitely see some others as well here, so hang in there. Romelia, are you ready to give this a shot? By the way, students, make sure you're listening to each other, and you can repeat each other as well. I think repeating Amra is a very smart idea. His English is very good. So, Romelia.
Hello.
Hi, Romelia. How are you?
Not bad, thank you.
All right.
Eager to to have a go.
Okay, all right. Well, it is the weekend, Romelia, so, make the most of
So
it.
far, so good. So
Yeah.
far, so good.
No need to run to a place of shelter, right? So it's a good day.
Uh, Hopefully not.
All right. Okay, Romelia, I'm going to start you off here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, all right, here we go. So take a look at these questions. You have 1 minute to prepare your ideas to read the question. Take notes in this time if you wish. Talk about a safe haven, a place where you can go to avoid danger. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
My protective shelter and comforting oasis is my grandpa's cottage in the countryside. It is situated southernmost in the country, in the heart of rolling hills and lush pastures, providing a tranquil retreat from the frantic pace of urban life. It's a charming and cozy retreat with a beautiful garden, exuding rustic and welcoming ambience. There is a comfortable living room with a fireplace, perfect for snuggling up on chilly evenings, a quaint kitchen, a dining area, as well as three warm and inviting bedrooms. Here, I can take the deep breaths of the unpolluted countryside air and savor the joys of a simpler existence. The cottage is enveloped by picturesque natural surroundings, replete with stunning scenery, diverse fauna, and as well farm fresh produce from the neighboring area. I would use this safe haven wherever I feel like recharging my batteries, being one with the nature, spending quality time with my nearest and dearest. It's a great place to go during crises such natural disasters or political unrest. I would definitely take immediate family as well as close friends who may need a safe place to stay. The sense of isolation and serenity is what adds more value to this space, far away from noise and pollution of the city, and we have everything we need to be self-reliant. We have access to fresh water, food, and medical supplies, and we even generate our own power. In conclusion, I would say that having a refuge to rely on is essential for well-being and sometimes even for the survival.
Okay, I'll stop you there. And we'll continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to this topic. How would you get to this cottage?
I've missed this part, yeah. How accessible it is.
Just answer it. Just answer it. Romelia, just answer it. Don't self-critique. Just answer it. So how would you get to this cottage?
Is a few miles away from the closest town.
And how would you get there?
With your own car or even walk.
Okay. Repeat after me. It depends on the situation. If possible, just a sec, just repeat after me. It depends on the situation. If possible, I would drive, but in the worst case scenario, I could hike there in 2 days.
Yeah. Okay, if possible, I would drive, but worst case scenario, it's also, walking is also an option.
I would walk there in 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Quantification. That's what I'm trying to encourage here is quantify.
Okay.
Okay. Quantify.
I still have to work at all this.
Yeah, quantification is a tricky one, right? It's something that we really do have to practice putting into our language. Okay, so Romelia, overall that was really good. So again, very nice high score. I would say a comfortable 8 is fair here. So that would be considered very good English. You're using some really nice vocabulary. You could make this a 9. The way to make this a 9 would be to pay a little bit more attention to your pacing and intonation. The only reason I find it a little bit tricky, or I found it a little bit tricky to follow you in your response, was that you tended to have, and I think it's because you were really anxious to get the information out and to speak.
Exactly. And I was a bit, I don't know how to.
It sounded like
Amrak previously used self-sufficient, and I've used the same in my mind, and then I have to change immediately with self-reliant.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So, and this is important for everybody, especially to get those higher band scores. You really want to be calm, be focused, and intonate. So try to have variation in your intonation. You had a very consistent kind of.
Yeah, I know. My pronunciation is still problematic. I'm working on it.
It wasn't really your pronunciation, Romelia. It was more your intonation in this case. So it was that you were anxious and you tended to have this very rhythmic and repetitive intonation. Instead, you want to vary it. Like, my protective shelter and comforting oasis is definitely my grandpa's cottage in the countryside.
It's quite robotic.
Yeah, so you want to be unrobotic in this sense, right?
Yeah, okay. I know. I'm all aware of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was probably the one and only reason why this is an 8 instead of a 9, right? So again, at this at the band 9 level, the examiner is focusing on every aspect of your communication, including natural sound and easy coherence because of that natural sound, right? So here the intonation is important. So do pay attention to intonation, students. Otherwise, lovely, very rich vocabulary. So
anyway, band 8 is not that bad.
It's not bad. Are you kidding me? That's what you need if you want to teach English. That's the band level. So snuggling up on a chilly evening, diverse fauna, fresh produce, providing a quiet place from the hectic pace of urban life. These were all really nice expressions, sentences. So keep it up, Romelia. Stay calm and intonate, okay? Focus on that intonation, all right?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, bye, Romelia.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was really good. Thumbs up to Romelia. Thumbs up to Amra. Thank you for paying attention to that, everybody. That was great. Yeah, okay. Domenico, let's jump into it. Okay, we'll get through a few of our members here for sure. Domenico, are you ready? All right, Domenico, it looks like Romelia stole your thunder with the cabin in the mountains, because Romelia's cottage, Grandpa's cottage, kind of sounds like a cabin in the mountains. Okay. Domenico's there. All right.
Hello.
Hi, Domenico. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. And what about you?
I am doing quite well also. Thank you for asking. I've got a running race tomorrow at this time.
Yeah, the day here is nice and warm, and the temperature is comfortable. I might go to the local fan base to watch my favorite team football, my favorite team football match, which takes place at 6 p.m. So, you know.
Good. Sounds like a fun plan. All right, let's get in some English practice. Before that, Domenico, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
Okay, let's jump right into it. Talk about a safe haven, a place where you can go to avoid danger.
Well, a kind of sanctuary that comes to my mind where I could go to avert a hazardous event is a wooden cabin in the mountains that was built by my ancestors during the First World War. I'd say the cabin, which occupies 100 square meters, is located in a rural area in the mountains, and is surrounded by a beautiful garden with tall pine trees, blooming flowers, and a little pond. Although it has been uninhabited since my grandparents passed away, it's well supplied with food and water, and it has a high ceiling. And whenever I go to visit this place, I feel like I'm in a cozy and different world, far away from the hustle and bustle of the urban area and the stress of daily life. I'd say I would use this cozy cabin during any kind of natural disaster, like an earthquake in the sea, a tornado, or in any cases of political instability or social unrest, or any situations where it is necessary to find a safe and secluded place to avoid danger or violence. With all that being said, if a natural disaster were to happen warned and I were to be warned in advance, I would probably take my close family members and some close friends one nearby. I would also take my pets as they provide comfort and emotional support. Although the cabin isn't spacious, it has an immense garden
Okay,
where
your
I
time
could.
is up. I will stop you there. We will now continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to this topic. What kind of pets do you have that you would take in case of danger?
Well, I have 4 beautiful fur babies, cats. I'm big on cats, so they are playful, resourceful, and yeah, and and they have the power to bring happiness to the household
Very
or
good.
positive vibes.
Uh-huh. Positive vibes to the household. Sure.
Yeah,
Especially during a stressful situation.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, don't just say that. Just repeat me. Especially during
Yeah.
a stressful situation.
Especially during a stressful situation.
Okay, good. Yes, I like how you agreed with me there. You're like, yeah, exactly. The examiner won't do that. Of course, the examiner won't speak instead of you, but you have to, just finish the idea. Domenico, that was outstanding. Really good. Lovely. And, hats off to you and Romelia for really doing a great job of avoiding repeating what the previous volunteer has said. So all 3 of you are doing a fantastic job of giving more and more vocabulary and more ways to express this kind of situation. As far as, one real strength, Domenico, is your grammatical range. I loved your grammatical range, okay? You used conditionals, you used cause and effect, you used time conditions. So you used a lot of different forms of complex grammar, like although it has been uninhabited since. So although it has been uninhabited since is not only present perfect, but it's also complex sentence of opposition. My grandparents passed away. It is well supplied with food and water. Just a great complex grammatical sentence. And then followed right away by a conditional. Whenever I go there, I feel like I'm surrounded by. So immediately presented with a condition. So it's like you have this windfall of complex sentence followed by complex sentence followed by complex sentence, and they're accurate. So it's really nice. So I would say definitely, Domenico, that would be like a 7.5. And I think if you were a bit more fluent, like a little bit faster, a little bit smoother with your speech, you would be up in the 8.5 to 9 range. Okay, so that's the one element there that I think is holding you back. But you know what? I think some examiners might even give you an 8 for that. Okay, depending on how they assess. So 7.5 to even an 8, that was really, really good. Okay, very nice and good detail. Good detail. So good vocabulary, like avert hazards is a wooden cabin in the mountains that was built by my ancestors during World War I. Again, just a beautiful starting opening sentence. So very well done. Domenico, practice a lot of recording yourself and repeating yourself and saying it faster and faster and faster. So just push yourself for quicker and quicker speech, okay?
Yeah, I'm doing. I'm using many. For example, I write what I write. I try to record my phrases and try to time myself to see how long I take to say that phrase.
That's great. And then repeat. So the important step there is do it
Yeah.
and then repeat it and then repeat it, right? So go through that arduous task of just repetition, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But Domenico,
Yes.
lovely, great story. Does the cabin exist? I have to ask.
To be honest, it's a made up story.
It's a made up story. All right. No worries. Just find that. It probably does. You just have to find it. All right, Domenico. Have it awesome.
So I tried to narrate the story through visualizations. Because
Absolutely.
I have a lingering idea in the back of my head, and I try to. And I have tried to bring it into the real world.
That's how it happens.
Because
we
when
imagine
I was
it and we bring it into the real world.
yeah, because when I was growing up, I remember my grandparents had a house in the mountains. So I tried to build my speech on that visualization.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to do it. All right, Domenico, have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy that football game.
Same to you.
Bye for now.
Same to you. Bye.
All right, and Domenico has a good point. Build the visualization. Absolutely. Okay. All right, our member Huang. Are you ready? So this is a members chat class, everybody, but in the next class, it's an all chat class, so everybody can jump in. If you're a member, make sure to mention it in the chat. Say, hey, I'm a member. Give me a chance as well, okay? All right, Huang, a longtime member. Let's give Huang a chance. Hi, Huang. I don't hear our connection being made. I wonder if you are there. The internet is a tricky world. It's strange that we can connect on some days and then not on another day. That's because internet connections are not stable. Huang, I cannot hear you, unfortunately. So you have to check your internet connection. Yeah, unfortunately, internet connections, it's not by cable, right? It's by satellite, it's by towers, and they get switched up and they go through different places, and then they don't make that same connection in the other part of the world anymore as easily. So check the connections, Huang, check the connections. Try with somebody else, see if it works. So reach out to someone else. Alexi, I would recommend doing the same. So try to reach out to someone else and then see if it works with another person, right? So in these kinds of situations, sometimes what you have to do is you have to do trial by error, okay? All right, let's give Thu a chance then in this case, because Thu is still in here. Thu, are you ready? Do you want to try part 2? Okay, we've got a little bit more time. We've got about 5 more minutes. So if somebody wants to give it a shot, by all means. Who says no? You know, I won't push you. Kunwal says, may I volunteer? Sure. Are you ready? Don't be scared of part 2, everybody. You have to practice part 2, okay? Part 2 is very, very important to practice. So Kunwal, if you're there, let me know and give it a try, okay? So a place of refuge. Kunwal, let me know if you're still there. All right, getting some smiles for Thu. That's great. Yeah, and I mean, Thu, sure, if you don't want to try in a live class like this, I understand that's a different kind of pressure, but at least at home, make sure to practice. You want to build confidence for part 2, okay? I'm not sure what happened to Kunwal. Okay, everybody. Well, let's just put a stop to it there. And again, practice with each other. Make connections with each other. Okay? check your system, make sure that it works for part 3, okay? And if you are able to connect with others, you should be able to connect with me as well. aehelp.com, everyone. Click that big red button just above my head there. It's a one-time payment. It's a lifetime access, and it really just doesn't cost much money at all. You get tons and tons of help, practice exams, videos, audio materials, reading materials, tons of help there for you. And for general IELTS students, check out gieltshelp.com. It's the green background, okay? So separate for academic, separate for general. I will be back in 30 minutes. We will continue with speaking part 3. Speaking part 3 will continue with a topic or with a related topic to speaking part 2. So go to aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com, and I'll see you in 30 minutes. Stretch those legs, grab a glass of water. Bye for now. See you soon.